Hello, my name is Jocelyn Vargas, and my topic is Evolving to Sustainable Crop-Based Biofuels. Here are a couple of examples of how exactly biofuels are used today. Humans use biofuels for transportation, power, and heating. This leads me to my issue and research question. The main issue is that current crop-based biofuels are harmful to our environment and release tons of greenhouse gases into our atmosphere. This contributes to global warming. My research question is, how can we transition from current crop-based biofuels that release huge amounts of greenhouse gases to biofuels that aid towards a carbon-reducing strategy? Concerning my main issue, bioenergy can be one of the leading energy sources of the future, but some of their current crop-based biofuels have a troubling byproduct. Carbon dioxide is an extremely harmful greenhouse gas that is one of the factors that has caused global warming. Many of our current crop-based biofuels, such as palm oil and rapeseed oil, have a higher total greenhouse gas emissions than the petroleum fuels they replace. The issue is that we are not innovating for a more sustainable biofuel. We are creating an even bigger problem to our global warming issue. Now, the research question is, some other questions is that I want to know what crop-based biofuels are better alternatives. I want to know which crops have the lowest impact on our planet that can produce the most biofuels. Obtaining these answers will provide sustainable energy for future generations, lower greenhouse gas emissions, and help save our planet. Now, the next couple slides are just to show how impactful this bioindustry has been on our ecosystems. Looking at these images, you can imagine how detrimental deforestation is to our planet. And this is all to make room for some of these crop-based biofuels. Now, here's a video that I'd like you guys to watch. And when watching this video, have this question in your head. Why switch from current crop-based biofuels?
York is a research leader in alternative biofuels.
Having some technical difficulties. Let's go back in here. All right. So, from watching this video, you could see how it demonstrates why it is necessary to evolve to a different crop-based biofuel. Dr. Larry Smart, the man you see right there, describes in depth the changes that needs to be made in this industry, that we need crops that give the highest yield but have a low impact on our planet. Establishing the problem. So certain biofuels emit higher amounts of greenhouse gases than other better alternatives. Deforestation to plant these crop-based biofuels are increasing greenhouse gases in our atmosphere, thus furthering global warming and climate change. Biofuels such as corn have equal amounts of input and output energy. What I mean by this is that these cornfields need to be plowed and harvested annually. They use huge amounts of pesticides, herbicides, and fertilizers. Essentially, you are using close to the same amount of energy that you are getting out of the product. So here's a question. What could happen if this problem isn't addressed? Well, eventually, if we don't attempt to decrease our high greenhouse gas levels, then global warming will take its toll on our planet. This will lead to climate changes that will essentially make crop fields uninhabitable for any life to grow. The climate change caused by global warming will cause prolonged heat exposure that will be detrimental to crops. There will be no more crop-based biofuels, and there will be food and water shortages at the very least. And this is just to touch on the whole problem, because I could go on and on about for slides the issue surrounding this, but this is just a piece of it. So corn ethanol has been one of the most disputed biofuels in the industry. In Rom's book, Climate Change: What Everyone Needs to Know, he discussed how corn ethanol has both directly and indirectly consumed a great deal of land, which in turn means it generates greenhouse gas emissions comparable to that of the gasoline it replaces. Annual plowing and harvesting has also contributed to this along with transportation emissions. Another solution is to stop deforestation. Stopping unnecessary deforestation is necessary because it causes even further climate change issues and hinders the absorption of greenhouse gases. Sugarcane ethanol. Sugarcane ethanol produces 2 times more ethanol than corn ethanol. The waste byproduct is reused to fuel manufacturing operations, as well as it stores carbons. The Environmental Protective Services affirm that ethanol extracted from sugarcane reduces greenhouse gases by 61% as compared to gasoline. Microalgae. So microalgae uses less water than traditional crops. It grows rapidly. It eliminates the uses of herbicides, pesticides, as well as it absorbs carbon and has beneficial co-products that can be used again. Potential counter-arguments I would refute would be that current crop-based biofuels don't affect global warming. Another would be that bioenergy isn't an option for future sustainable energy. Research. So the source topics that I will include in my essay is credible researchers who have had years of studies done about crop-based biofuels. I will also provide data on what alternative biofuels are more sustainable and why specifically, as well as peer-reviewed articles on how deforestation is affecting our planet. And this brings the question, how will you decide if information is useful or not? Well, I will know the information is useful if it aligns with my main idea, one, as well as provides an answer to my research questions. It needs to fit all of my requirements necessary in this essay, and it needs to stick to the main topic being discussed. My audience. So the audience for this issue is every single living being on this planet, because that is who this problem concerns. Global warming is ravaging this planet, and humans need to be more aware of the issues of these toxic greenhouse gases. Everyone needs to be a part of the solution to stop the damaging effects of global warming, before we are past the point of no return. We start with one problem and we solve it, and that is how we are going to be a part of the carbon reducing strategy. Most people know about global warming, but very little people know of the fight to find sustainable energy for the future. Bioenergy is an option, but we need to change our current crop-based biofuels that emit high amounts of greenhouse gases, because it is crucial that we transition to a more sustainable alternative. There are possible issues that I might encounter. One is maybe when persuading others about my research, there might be a pushback from huge biotechnology industries that don't want to switch to different crops. Other people not involved in the industry might not see the whole picture and won't see how changing to different crops would make an impact on global warming. They might try to want to fix other issues when in reality we need to start somewhere at least. In order to compensate for these challenges, I will provide factual-based arguments and counter-arguments to persuade the reader to see the truth. I think that if you provide someone with undeniable evidence, you can falsify their prior beliefs. In order for people to trust you, you have to either relate to them or supply them with insurmountable evidence from credible sources. Some potential pitfalls that I might encounter is that possibly not finding credible enough evidence for some of my specific questions that I have. I want to explain my point of view to the best of my ability, and I think that if I don't hit certain points in detail enough, then my evidence will seem weak. Additionally, I may not have good enough answers for some of my counterarguments. This will make my research topics seem weak and other arguments seem more sensible. Of course, I want to avoid all of these potential pitfalls, which is why I'm going to provide a good amount of evidence that is fact-based and has credible sources. And that is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much. Have a good one. Thank you.